Good morning, folks. Welcome to the Backpack Trader Training Room for Monday, March 29th, 2021. Troy is traveling today, so this is John. I will be substituting today. Please do say hello. Thank you, Ben. Michael. Please do hit the like button to help Troy's channel. And jumping right in, crude's been active this morning, but right at 9 o'clock, we picked up this short. Expand that, so we had this short right at 9 o'clock. I'll go ahead and slide that over. 61.24. Money management 61.10. Targets at 61.08 and 60.99. So hitting targets 1 and 2, and trailing down to 60.77. So one and done session for the 9 o'clock mini session on crude. Unleaded gas, unfortunately, hasn't been quite as. Let's see what it's done lately here. Okay, yeah, actually it was. If you were using the 200 EMA setup in the diamond level package, it triggered in at 98.36 and just went one tick beyond target 2, 98.06 for a 30 tick target 2. Not big today on unleaded gas, but that's a one and done for unleaded. If you're not using those diamond level setups, the 200 and the 20 SMA, then your first trade is this yellow 50 EMA trade that goes to money management, gets a partial, and you get a full stop out on the long. And now you're in a second long. So there is your trade. Entry was at 97.37. Money management's at 97.87, and target 2 at 98.23. Actually, that one wouldn't have been a bad idea to push above the 20, but it would not have made any difference. And now a possible stop and reverse. We'll use a 4-tick adjustment because of the small tick size. So the entry plotted at 97.09, so that will go to 97.04, and therefore we are still long. And have to work that one manually because it did trigger in the unadjusted stop and reverse. So that means that unless we hit the stop, that stop and reverse will stay valid. Pound Aussie has been pretty quiet, although we are in this get in sync trade from 6:20 this morning. That's the same trade. I've got exactly the same trade that Trade Today called today. And taking some heat right now on that trade. Stop at 81.06. So we have a couple of more minutes before market open. This one could be rather volatile based on some of the news from over the weekend. We'll have to see what happens. Some of Friday's news. Money management on the YM, which means we will not be able to do anything with that trade, although we normally wouldn't anyway. And the Russell RTY also in a pre-market short that just hit money management. So we'll certainly look for new setups on both of those. Soybeans starts at 8:30. That's hit money management on this short trade, so that trade's off the table. We'll look for a new setup there. That is the counterpunch setup, the counterpunch trade plan on the CPT site. And there is a short setup on soybeans that too fast to catch and did just hit its stop. So and looks like we have a long setup as well. Long setup at 1398.25. Short setup is canceled. That's a nice size long trade. No, the Russell stopped out of its trade, so it's currently flat, waiting for a setup. And the unleaded stop and reverse to short did trigger, so we're now short on unleaded. That would have been there's where our entry would have been on the stop and reverse. And there is our money management. At 96.59. The Russell did trigger into a short. $31.17. Yeah, plenty of time to get into that one. The YM on a strong up move. The Russell keeps testing its 50 EMA, but looking like it's wanting to go up. Failing to follow through twice after punching through the 50 EMA. And just barely missing the stop on the short on the Russell. Unleaded approaching its money management and hitting money management. So stop will come to 03, 97.03. Actually, it comes all the way down to 96.92 following the starting to trail the balance line already. 96.87 now. Looking for a target at 96.22 for 87 ticks. Actually, to take 5 off that, so 82 ticks because of our stop and reverse adjustment. We took a full stop, and now we've triggered into a long on the Russell at 2210.1. Big trade, 42 ticks to target 1, and with the 1.5 point momentum bar, that's a potential take profit level. With that big a trade, I think I would consider taking profit at target 1. Our loss on the short was 49 ticks. So that will get us within 7 of break even. YM still in its pre-market long, so nothing to do there. And soybeans did trigger long. It came down and tested its session low and now moving back up a little bit, so we'll see what happens. Unleaded, reaching as low as 96.54. We need another 32 ticks to get to. Okay, that's the next bar. I'm sorry. It got as low as 96.76 is the current stop. It did get as low as 96.33, so just 11 ticks from target, but moving back upward a little bit now. It would be an 18 tick win on 2 positions for 36, so we'd still be 13 down. Actually, no, we'd be more than that. We're going to be 49 times 2, or 98. So we would still be 80 ticks down. And there is a stop out and a trigger long. Stopping out at 76, triggering long at 78. That went through very rapidly and definitely came down now and picked up the entry again, so definitely would be in the long. And it looks like soybeans is stuck between its session low and the 50 EMA at the moment. Now the Russell gave us a short setup. Setup was at 079, so that would be 077. And we hit the entry exactly. How quickly did that happen? 33 to 45, 12 seconds. There's a very good chance that spiked down and was not tradable, and therefore you would have stayed in the long if it wasn't tradable. And there's money management on the long. Given that was just a 12-second bar, I suspect that the 2 ticks beyond the plotted entry, it was fairly quick. And looking for target at 16.6, getting as high as 16.0. And the YM reaching for session highs. YM in the upper left, Russell in the upper right, crude chart up top center, and our unleaded long has hit money management. So our stop is hiding back here at 79, just below 20 SMA, which actually is not a bad place for the stop. Pound Aussie moving down again after coming up close to the stop. Still in its original short trade this morning. And there is target on the Russell. So that was a 42 tick target 1. And our initial loss was 98. We got 42 to target 1. And now and target 2 actually hit also. If you chose target 2, you got 65. Now you're now 33 down. You would be 56 down with target 1. And it looks like it probably just stopped out. Balance line at 16.4. Close was on the balance line, so look, 15.9 would have been our stop, and I don't think we got there, or did we? Yep, we got right to the stop at 15.9. So our target was what, 16.6? That's 7 ticks less. So that's 58. And that actually gets you positive on either target 1 or target 2. Just barely positive off of target 2 by like 2 ticks, but that is POQ nonetheless. And there is our first trade on the YM. Pull back after hitting the session high. I would wait for this one to come through and test the high again before I took it, given the type of move, but it hasn't even triggered the first time yet. soybeans with an add-on long, but we're already in the white long trade on soybeans. And going sideways, bumping up against the 50 EMA at the moment. Unleaded stopping out at 79. And let's see, that would be 2 money management trades, I believe. Well, yeah, you would have gotten the long, stopped and reversed for small loss into the short, picked up a solid partial on the short, then going back long for a 1-tick break even. So very close to a POQ there. And then a short, another money management short. So definitely peak. Well, let's see. And now a long. Depends on if we're positive anywhere along in there, we're done. If not, we're in the long. I'll go ahead and follow along while I go back and look at it. I would have taken that short on the second. It set up and then pulled back and tested the session high and came back down and hit the entry. And that would have been a time to take that on the YM and just hit money management. And target 1, which is our YM take profit level. So 32,931, and that'll be a one and done session on the YM. Not a big trade, but taking advantage of the pullback for an 18-tick winner. Okay, unleaded still in the long I have marked with the yellow and blue lines, not going far enough to stop and reverse. That the stop and reverse, it actually is canceled, having hit the entry on a new long. But that plotted at 96.16, so it would be 96.12 would be our entry, and we only got as low as 96.14. So still in this long back here on unleaded. The Russell is POQ. The YM is POQ. It stopped out for a tick, it looks like. Or actually maybe loss of a couple of ticks. But actually, since you hit a target, I would keep the 48. Or it would have been a 46. Yeah, because the entry was 49, so it would have been 47. No, the entry was 49. So since you hit target 1 and took profit, stop would have come down to 48 typically. We don't typically take that key level, major key level adjustment, which will take us into a loss if we've already had a winning trade, already in a winning trade. So we pick up a single tick on the trailer, and so the Russell, the YM, and crude, all the top three charts are done. Pound Aussie is still in its initial trade. Unleaded, I suspect, is probably done, but it's very close. Let's take it. And soybeans is taking heat, testing the session lows again. Let's take a look at unleaded and see what it did. Okay, so 9 o'clock start. That was our 200 SMA trade. Those two didn't trigger. The short triggered and gave us an 18 tick partial. Stopped out at 66 with an entry at 83. 17 tick trade, 17 tick partial, so 34 ticks. Then we picked up this long that was a full stop if you're not trading the diamond level trade, so that was a 57 ticks. Ooh, that was 114 ticks. So we're down 70. And we get well, let's see. Yeah, down 114. We don't have that short. So we come back up into this long at 97.37 that doesn't stop and reverse into the short. Finally stops and reverses into the short over here. $97.37 to $97.04. So 33 tick loss there is 66. We're down 136. So 04 to 76 is 18, is another 36. So we're down 100 coming to there. We pick up 2 more on the money management there and 2 on money management there. We're down to 96. On 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it's a losing session on unleaded this morning. 6 trades in the books for the non-diamond level, for the gold level traders. And we are done. So still following the pound Aussie, we will have the 10 o'clock session coming up in about 6+ minutes. Soybeans stopped out. That is a one and done plan. So that is the end of the session for soybeans. Now let's check in and see how the euro yen did or is doing. That trade was too early to get in, so flat currently on the euro yen. No trade this morning so far. And the pound Aussie testing its 200 EMA again. We need to break through the 200 EMA to get to money management. At 8067, actually my plot is going to be just a couple of ticks higher than that. Yeah, money management on my chart is 67.3 with that fifth digit. Ninja Trader doesn't round that one. The Euro Yen trade plan is basically the same as the pound Aussie, just it's a 60 tick or 6 pip range, or six pip momentum bar, 6 pip range. Otherwise, everything else is exactly the same as the pound Aussie. Just the range or momentum bar size is different. If you're taking more than one trade, that is a second chance trade on soybeans. If you're taking more than just a one and done, if you're continuing to trade, that is a target 2 winner. On the short side. And continuing down. Stop currently at 13.93 even on soybeans. If you're following that. And soybeans going through target 3 now. So all 3 targets hit on that second trade, and the trailer is down to 13.91. Trailing stop. And the pound Aussie still unable to get through its 200 EMA. Back to our entry level. $90.5 for this soybean stop. $90.25. Nice. Looks like my monitor is stuck on that. Looks like unleaded or something that I was looking at. Are those of you in the room seeing all 6 charts, or are you just seeing one maximized? And our first possible trade of the morning on the Euro Yen is a short at 129.17. Money management at 129.05. So our first actionable target, well, actually, our first actionable target would be 129.06 for 11 ticks, 11 pips. So that would also be our money management level. All right, good. Was just confused by the YouTube monitor showing something different than my streaming software is showing is going out. So Just wanted to be sure what you were getting. But basically, we have the trade on soybeans and our two currency charts are all that's still active at this point. We should be in the, yes, we're in the 10 a.m. session on crude. So that would be, yeah, we'd be in this short at 10 a.m. from 60.26. Or 60.28, yeah. Yeah, 60.28, 60.10 for money management, 08, and 59.97 for targets. Okay, the stop is sitting right around the 200 EMA at 55. I would push the stop up one tick to 57, get a couple of ticks above the 200. Until it pulls down another tick or two. The plotted stop is at 56. And a potential stop and reverse for you. Let's see. Stop and reverse at 38 plus 2 would be, and key level be 41. So still long. I'm sorry, still short on crude, but with the potential stop and reverse. And it looks like our soybeans trade stopped out. Final position stopping out at 13.89 even. Which was target 2. So 10, 7, and 24 ticks. 27, 50, 51 ticks plus another 17, 68 ticks on that trade. And if you're trading 4 positions, what was our loss on the first trade? Our loss on the first trade was 80, so we'd still be down 12. If you took that trade, you're still looking for one more trade to get positive. And it looks like the Euro-Yen short trade may cancel if we get an up close on this bar. Thank you for confirming what you're seeing, guys. Okay, a new stop and reverse on crude. Pulled back to 36, 37. No, 30, yeah, 37. So it would stay at 41 and it still hasn't been triggered. Let me check to see what that. No, actually, that would have come up to 38. I think I would keep mine at 31 anyway. Because of this earlier bar that reached 37. So I would say we're still short. I'm still short. And there's a new short on soybeans at the session low, 85.75. I would adjust that down probably 2 ticks to 85.25. How big is the trade? The trade's only 10 ticks to target 1. Yeah, maybe just 1. 85.50. That's where the entry already is 85.50. And the low is, yeah, so 85.25 would be the entry. One tick adjustment. You had 37 reach there and 38. Yeah, 38 reach there. So yeah, keep the stop and reverse at 41. It's going to stay active unless it hits the long stop. And pushing down to money management at target 1. That's a 20 tick target. So that's, if you kept your stop and reverse at 41, that is a one and done for the 10 a.m. session on crude. Or it will be when the trade completes, assuming 2 positions. Target 2 down at 59.97. But that was a 20 tick target 1. And a 31 tick target 2 if it hits it. Pound Aussie, we're trying to work through. That's the first penetration of the 200 EMA. Now let's see if we can get a close below it. If we can get a close below there, we get a good chance on this, very good chance on this trade. And there's a close below and a nice move down. We need about 2 more pips for money management. We got as low as 69.4. So yeah, just, and there's money management. Money management achieved on that. Trying to reach down for 66 and target 1. Just missing target 1. If we get target 1, we'll set this up to be a POQ trade. Yeah, stop loss definitely to break even, which entry at 82, so stop loss at 81 plus your 2 ticks for spread, so that would be 83. Or 2 pips for spread. And looks like for those continuing to trade on soybeans, that trade did hit target 1, stopped to break even at 85.25, or actually 85 even since we adjusted. So that's a 9-tick target. And 1 is 10, and I think that we were still a few ticks, like 13 ticks. Yeah, we were 12 ticks negative still. We got 68, and we were down 80. So still down 2. But I think three trades should be sufficient. Should be all we go on that. But that brings us very close to break even. And target 1 achieved on the pound Aussie. That is a POQ trade. Okay. Crude stopped out on its trailer, didn't reach target 2. Trailer should have been, looks like 60.22. Yeah, 60.22. For another 6 ticks. So the pound Aussie making it a one and done session. That depends on which chart you're looking at. Those are actually, yeah, there's somewhat momentum. That's the part of the indicator set for the spotlight in most cases there, except for soybeans, and that's the histogram for counterpunch. But those are overbought. I mean, for spotlight, it's an overbought, oversold indicator, and we're looking for blue indicates an oversold condition, so it will, anytime we get over that yellow 0 line, it will allow a long setup. Anytime we have the pink above the 0, that will allow us a short setup or a pink trade on spotlight. The histogram is actually only really used on the white trades in counterpunch, just as a confirmation. The faster blue line has to cross over the slower yellow line to set up a white trade, or to confirm a white trade. Getting very close to target 2. Also testing the session open for the pound Aussie. So we've had crammed a lot into an hour this morning. The histogram on soybeans, in other words, for counterpunch, actually represents the trend on a 5 times slower chart, I believe it is. Or maybe, is it slower or faster? It's been too long. And target 2 hit on the pound Aussie. Definitely a POQ trade, and the stop now down to 8076. So that definitely will be a POQ trade. So your stop order should be about 8078, assuming two pips of spread. Euro yen trade, short trade, is still possible. It hasn't triggered in. And currently the 20 SMA is sitting at 129.17. Actually, it may be sitting at 16. That's moved up enough. I believe I would go ahead and move my stop, or my entry, to 129.14 for the moment. Until the 20 SMA moves up away from that entry a little bit. If I were trading the Euro Yen. And as you can tell from where our management on our POQ trade on the Russell was, we've come down quite a bit. About 28 points. Yeah, the counterpunch hasn't changed. Actually, CPX is actually just a subset of the original counterpunch. If you have the full counterpunch, then you have everything that's out there for it, other than possibly the TA. And if you have that, you have everything for it. All right. Looks like soybeans, if you took a fourth trade, that you took this long trade, looks like it's getting very close. There's target 1. So that would put you positive on the day, and this will be a POQ trade. You did have a potential stop and reverse, but then didn't trigger. And you have a bare minimum 6 tick, so you're at least 4 ticks positive, plus another tick for the break-even stop. 86.75 for the entry. So 87 even for the stop, and it did just stop out. So 5 tick net positive on 4 trades. A lot of work for 5 ticks, but it's better than an 80 tick loss. Stop loss on the pound Aussie now moving down to 8073. Kevin will edit that in a moment, I'm sure. He's got 7073, but it should be 8073. Actually, my chart has it at 7273, and it's depending on your data source. That's the difference in data sources. So the only things we have left now are our currencies. We know that the pound Aussie is going to be POQ. So I'll give it about 10 more minutes, about give it to 10 minutes till the hour. That'll give it. I've been in here an hour and a half. All right. Coming close to the stop, but still surviving on the pound Aussie. And now we have a new long setup, and that we actually did have the second close above the balance line on the euro yen, so the short is canceled, and we have a long setup at 129.31. And Russell setting new session lows now, so trending downward. And where is the YM sitting? It's not down too far from where it set up our one and done short trade. Okay, there we are. Okay, it's kind of midway between. down below, just below the moving averages. So it's settled in right around the moving averages, it looks like. And crude has bounced back up to its session open. That's the gold line, gold dotted line on my chart at 60.75. And looks like, yep, pound Aussie has stopped out. That ends the session for trade today. And then it ends the session for me on here. The only thing left is the euro yen, and it's not really moving much, and not really giving us much in the way of bars. So unless there are questions, I believe it's time to call it a day. I will definitely be in tomorrow with the Tuesday session again on NinjaTrader. So anybody have questions? The green line on the bottom section of my spotlight charts does represent trend strength, and the green trade in spotlight is when that trend strength indicator rises above zero. So that's an additional piece of information that comes from that histogram. Brett, Michael, you're both quite welcome. I learned as much doing this as I did listening to it. And I actually learned more doing it myself than I did actually listening to it at times. It also keeps me sharp on the strategies. All right. I don't see any questions. I can't see if anybody's typing. on YouTube as we were able to on Omnovia, but I don't see any questions in the chat, so I will say goodbye, and everybody have a wonderful afternoon. And I will be back in here tomorrow morning at 9:20 Eastern Time, Eastern Daylight Time. Everyone have a good one.